So yesterday we had this discussion about all of us wanting to have a humane society. Today we'll talk a little bit about the steps to move from where we are to where we want to reach. So we're talking of 4 steps in this, which can lead to the transformation, starting with the personal transformation, the family transformation in the family, transformation in the team, and then the societal transformation with that. So this is again, some of these slides are taken from that course that was being talked about yesterday, UHP 4 course. And so some of these PPTs are from that. So we spoke of the goals yesterday. We said that, we're working for a humane society and order where there are certain systems that are in place. We also looked at the present state. And so now we are looking at what kind of steps can be taken to go from where we are to where we want to reach, to the human society and order. So when we speak of a society, we discussed this in the UHP 2 workshop, the 5-day online workshop that we've been going through from more than a year now. And there we had said that family is the training ground for the society, and a humane society or a human society would be one that has families having a common goal, that are living in relationship, having a feeling of relationship with one another. So this would have 2 parts to it. One is the feelings, and the other is the feelings are ensured within oneself, and then the expression of these to the other in the form of our behavior. So where does it start? We have been doing in the morning these self-development exercises. So when we talk of self-development, we are trying to develop the right understanding, right feeling, and right thought in each one of us. That is one part of it. And along with that, we are trying to purify whatever sanskar we have at present. And we'll talk in more detail about this as we go further. And with this self-development, we are also trying to have a family, a team, where this can be put in place, where we can live with this development that is going through within us, and eventually have a human society. So when it comes to the family, the society, the team, all these, we also need to talk about the culture, the civilization, and the tradition. So when we say culture, with this self-development within us, where we are working on having the right feeling and right thought, we can have in the family, in the society, a culture which is brought about by this collective thought. That is what forms the culture of the society, of the family. So this collective thought or the culture then expresses itself in the form of our behavior with other human beings, in our work, in our participation. So all of this forms the civilization. And eventually, to have a continuity of this humane society, a humane civilization, generation after generation, to connect up from the past to today to the future, that forms the tradition. So we'll talk a little more in detail about all this, but this is essentially what we're talking about today. So the first step, like we said, is the personal transformation or the self-development. Developing the right understanding, right feeling, and right thought, and purifying our sanskar. So when we talk of developing the right understanding in the self, we are trying to understand the harmony, to see the reality as it is, to be able to understand the harmony that is there, and to live in harmony. And we are trying to do this at all these levels that we are familiar with through, we started this process through the online workshop, 5-day online workshop. So we start with the individual, then move on to the family, the society, and nature. So we're trying to understand the harmony. So for this process, we talked of the process of self-exploration. In the workshop, we talk about proposals that are put forward, which we try to verify through our natural acceptance. That natural acceptance is there within each one of us, but till now we may not have discovered it, or we may not have become aware of it. So now we become aware of it, aware of this pure part within me, my intention, my natural acceptance, what I really want to be. And we verified the proposals and tried to see whether we can check with our natural acceptance. What is naturally acceptable to me? And through this process, we are trying to have a right understanding of the harmony and the feeling and thought of harmony, and eventually leading to harmonious behavior, work, and participation in the larger order. So when we start becoming aware of the natural acceptance, this forms a guide to my imagination, what I think, what I expect, what I desire, what I feel. So in order for us to purify our imagination, we have to first become aware of the imagination. So therefore, this becoming aware of our desire, thought, and expectation every moment. And this exercise we are doing in the morning sessions every day. So this is very significant, because until and unless we know what is going on in our imagination, how do we change it? How do we correct it? How do we bring it in line with our natural acceptance? So first we become aware of whatever is going on in our imagination, and then we start evaluating it. We evaluate our desire, our feeling, our thought, our expectation. Check if it is in line with our natural acceptance or not. So that process we are doing in the morning sessions. So this is about developing the right understanding in the self, or self-development. Talking of our sanskar, so what is sanskar? It is all these acceptances that I have within me in the of this sum total of all our desires, thoughts, and expectations from all time. So currently, this may be a mixture of some part of understanding of the reality of the principles that are universal, that are invariant, and some part of these sanskars or these acceptances that I have may be certain conclusions that I have drawn from the events in my life, from the experiences I had in the past. And these may or may not be in line with the existential laws and principles. So right now, our sanskars may be a mixed bundle, a mixture of these two things. And whatever I am is largely our sanskar. So part of it may be in line with the reality, part of it may be some acceptances that I'm having which are not in line with the reality. So that forms our perspective about life, about everything. So our perspective is also a part of our sanskar. Our tendencies, our habits, our likes, dislikes, they are also a part of our sanskar. So far, if anybody has any questions or clarifications to be made, we can take that. Otherwise, I will go forward. जी.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I think you all have mics. Ji.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Actually, samskar means our present state of being, current samskar.
What is the question?
The samskar means our current state of being. That is acceptance derived out of some total of desire, thought, and expectation from all time.
Yeah.
That means including our preconditioning, our assumption and sensation, etc. And natural acceptance. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, do these sanskars also affect our behavior in day-to-day life?
Your voice is not very clear to me. Maybe if you're using.
Yeah, I'm using the headphone. Maybe the internet is unstable. Now I'm.
Yeah, if you can just talk without that, sometimes it's more clear.
Okay. So I'm saying that whether sanskar are also impacting our day-to-day behavior?
Yes, certainly, isn't it?
Okay.
If we see whatever I am, in terms of, all the acceptances that I have within me, now that is driving my imagination. And with that imagination, with those feelings, those thoughts, those expectations, those get expressed in my behavior. So ultimately, this is what is driving my behavior.
Okay. Ma'am, can we work on these sanskar and make it towards a natural acceptance, or we have to live with that all the time?
No, certainly we can change that.
Okay. Okay.
We'll talk about that a little more as we go.
It is a myth now. They cannot be changed actually. That is why I'm asking it. Okay. So we are working on it right now. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. We are not doomed to stay with whatever sanskars we have. Certainly. That is the whole point of this exercise of self-development. And so we'll go further.
Namaste, madam.
Ji.
Hello.
Yes,
namaste. We may have right sanskar or wrong sanskar. So is it the right sanskar is based on knowing? Is it because of assumptions we may because sometimes we right sanskar or wrong sanskar may be based on assumptions, but if it is based on knowing, then it is a right sanskar.
Yeah, I mean, if it is
okay, madam.
If it is based on knowing, but sometimes we may have certain acceptances without knowing, then they may or may not be in line with the natural acceptance. So even though I may not know, I may be having some sanskar based on some acceptance, something that I may have heard. Now this may or may not be with understanding, but I may still be living with that sanskar because I have acceptance for it. So until we verify it through our natural acceptance, that won't be based on right understanding. So we need to make that effort to verify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like for example, based on some assumptions like respect the elders. So that is one part of the knowing, because we know that we also respect to everybody. So respect the elder is also not based on assumption. It's also fulfilling partially. So it is sometimes we call it the right sanskar. He has got right sanskar. He is respecting elders.
Yeah,
So
true.
it's
That's
true.
what
Yes.
we are saying.
Yes.
The sanskar may be, and sanskars are basically out of my feelings, thought, expectations from all time. Now, I may not have
Yes.
verified this. I may have received this as learning from my adults, from outside, from past experience, wherever. But until I verify and see for myself, I may or may not be able to know for sure whether it is in line with my right understanding, with my natural acceptance or not. So I need to verify everything. All the sanskars that I have, I need to keep checking with my natural acceptance. And in fact, when I get to right understanding, that will, I will naturally have, I will naturally be able to ensure the right feeling within myself, the right thought within myself. Then I don't have to keep checking or verifying, because then I will really know when I have the completeness of right understanding. But till then, if I have many sanskars that we are not sure about, then I need to keep verifying. We'll talk about this a little more now. It will become more clear.
Yes.
Ji. Ji.
Thank you. Namaste.
Yeah. So the sanskar that I have right now, like you can say this is sanskar T. Now, as we are doing this process of working on ourselves, developing the self, we are trying to update our sanskar over time. So if you see time as, what my sanskar was or is at this moment, if we say sanskar at time T, then as I keep working on myself, at the next moment or sanskar at T+1, I may have a different sanskar. And this will be dependent on what my sanskar was to begin with when I started this exploration, and my environment, what kind of environment I was in, plus this effort of self-exploration that I am doing. So as we keep self-exploring, as we keep verifying, as we keep understanding, then our sanskar keeps getting updated. Of course, when we talk of a conducive environment in terms of family, culture, civilization, tradition, all that is helpful to help update the sanskar. Like for instance, I think somebody yesterday mentioned that we feel comfortable when we are in the UHV group because we have complete trust on a lot of people and we don't feel any anxiety or fear or, some sort of, we feel very comfortable in that. But when we go outside, we don't feel the same way. So eventually, if we can visualize the human society, then it would be that way for all of society, that we would have fearlessness in the society. We would feel comfortable talking to anybody in society without getting worried about, wrong kind of behavior or anything like that. So we can keep updating our sanskar over time. And a conducive environment is certainly helpful. But in terms of our effort, we need to make some effort by doing some self-exploration. And this is, the self-development exercises that we are doing in the morning session. That is part of this self-development, updating the sanskar and getting to the right understanding that we are talking about. So there we are doing that exercise 1 of trying to understand the self in detail, trying to see the imagination in the self, trying to see our feelings, our thoughts, our expectations at every moment. trying to check if they are in line with our natural acceptance or not. All those things that we are working on in the morning session, they are ultimately leading to our own development, our personal development. And similarly, we'll have exercise 2 to be able to understand the material unit. For example, the body, in this case, the body will be studying, trying to see the body by the self. So trying to understand that material unit also in detail. And then of course, eventually we want to also touch on the exercise 3 to try to understand the coexistence, the space. So we are trying to do this in the morning sessions to develop the self. And eventually, we are trying for this outcome. We are trying to move from wherever we may be at this point to eventually having a human consciousness, to be able to work from wherever we may be on this path, with that process of exploration, evolving ourselves, becoming aware of the higher activities within ourselves through this process of self-exploration, self-verification. And only when we have opened up all of these higher activities and we have moved up to the highest activity of realization, then that would be completeness of right understanding, where we are able to realize the coexistence, to be able to see the coexistence the way it is. Right now, we may have heard of it in terms of our thoughts, but it may not come in our living because we may not have been able to see it for ourselves. So eventually we want to be able to see the relationship, our relationship with all, to be able to see the harmony that is all around us in nature, and eventually to be able to see the coexistence, that we are all in coexistence. So ultimately, that is where we want to reach. And we are all in that path. And so these are some of the steps we are trying to take to get to that personal transformation, to evolve the self. So if there were any questions on this, we can take up maybe 1 or 2 questions, then we'll move on.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, as we are talking about sanskar, in Vedic Sanskriti, there are 16 sanskars. And as we have understood through UHP that sanskars are what make our imagination. All our desires, our expectations are through this sanskar, we develop through this sanskar, something that will decide our work behavior. But when we see the Vedic sanskar, they are to be done at a particular age of the human being.
Yes.
So, is it the Vedic sanskar? Why it is based? Because age is only for the body and not for the self. So why they are to be done at particular age? That I am not able to understand.
Yeah. So right now we have a mix of, people at different stages of development, different levels of evolution, self-development. And so, a child may have more understanding than an adult, isn't it? Or a student may have more understanding than a teacher because of, say, past sanskar or whatever. But if we had a homogeneously human society, then perhaps, you would find that only when the conducive environment and the sort of some guidance is given to the younger ones, then they are able to develop their sanskar, at a in a smoother manner. So at every step in tradition, they have tried to put reminders for trying to evolve the self. So, when you enter even from birth to the naming ceremony to whatever, so many events are there, and every event can serve as a reminder that of what our eventual goal is and how to get there, by reminding us of this whole thing about living in relationship and sort of having the right understanding within us, right feeling, right thought in our behavior, in our work. So we'll talk a little more as we go, then we'll be touching on that also. But in a homogeneously humane society, you might find that at the as the age advances, people are having more and more understanding. But in a kind of society where there is no conducive environment right now, and we are only dependent on past sanskar without really having a chance to properly update the sanskar, then you will find all these variations. But that's whatever I can say of my understanding of this. So we can look at it like see from that perspective, because once the sanskar changes, our whole perspective changes. So right now we may be doing things on all these events in a certain way, but if we have a reminder in the society, in a humane society, then we may be able to use these occasions for updating our sanskar, for evolving the self. Ji.
So that means it is to assure that there would be variation of sanskars. Is it like that?
No, we are trying to have every human being come up with that right sanskar,
Yeah,
to have the right understanding. So
In
eventually
absence of-
that is what is goal.
Yeah, in absence of these 16 sanskar, as you told that everyone will be having some past sanskars only, and his life will be based on that past sanskar. To avoid this and to have a homogeneous society, these sanskars are done with a particular age. That is what I am trying to understand.
Yeah, eventually we all want a homogeneously humane society.
That's
Only then can we be fearless.
I got it.
Yeah. Yes, so one more question, then we'll go forward. Yashwant Patil ji. Okay. So we'll move forward. So that was the first step of our personal transformation. Now with that, we go on to the second transformation, living in relationship in the family, ensuring the feelings of relationship within each one of us with the right understanding, right feeling, and right thought. So this doesn't mean that because it's the second step, we have to completely finish the first step and only then we can work with the second step. All of these steps will be intermingled with one another. While working on one, we can work on the second, we can also work on the third, we can also work on the fourth. So that's how it is. So while working on ourselves, we can also see how we can live in relationship in the family. And again, recalling what we talked about in the workshop, online workshop, we discussed relationship, the feelings in relationship, justice in relationships. And this was based on understanding the relationship from our side, having an acceptance of the relationship, ensuring the feeling of relationship within ourselves. And that itself is sufficient, we said, to lead to happiness within me. Now, with this happiness within me, with this feeling of relationship for the other, then I spontaneously share this feeling with the other. And eventually, this sharing of the feeling with the other leads to happiness in the other. So there is mutual happiness. When there is mutual happiness, that itself is justice in the relationship. If there is no mutual happiness, then there is no justice in the relationship. So in the personal transformation, we work on having the right feeling, the right thought within ourselves, and with that, the right behavior. And then when we share these feelings, these thoughts, and interact with the others, then we do justice in human-human relationships. And that is what leads to mutual happiness. That itself is justice to the relationship. Otherwise, there is no justice in the relationship. And we start with our individual family, but ultimately the scope of this is all the way up to the world family or the undivided society, which is what we all want. So the same thing we have mentioned here, to have the right feeling within, we need to have the right understanding, that understanding of relationship, harmony, and coexistence. Becoming aware of it, becoming aware of our imagination, taking guidance from this, and ensuring this right feeling within ourselves. And this itself is leading to our happiness. Now, once we have this feeling coming from the right understanding, then it becomes definite, it becomes continuous, it becomes unconditional. Then I don't set any condition on anybody else that if they do this, then I will have the right feeling. If they say sorry, then I will have the right feeling. No, there is no condition attached. No matter what their behavior, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, I will have that unconditional right feeling for them, because I have accepted the relationship based on my right understanding. This right understanding and right feeling is the property of each one of us. It's not dependent on anybody else. So it's not conditioned by the other person's behavior. That is truly being in a state of self-organization or swatantra. On the other hand, when we are not having this definite feeling within ourselves, when we are trying to get this feeling from outside, from the other, then only if the other expresses that right feeling, we may feel happy. So I will feel happy only if the other person says sorry to me. I will feel happy only if the other person does this for me. And then whenever the other person expresses the wrong feeling, we feel unhappy. This means that somewhere we don't have the right understanding, because we have not been able to ensure this feeling within ourselves. And for this feeling, I am dependent on the other person, either on the other person outside or on the situation outside, which means I am in a state of enslavement or paratantrata. So this also we are working on in the morning sessions when we are having discussions regarding our interactions in the family. So feeling is one part. Feeling is one part on the basis of understanding. And this is something that if I have the understanding, then that feeling stays continuous. These are referred to as established values. Many of the feelings that we have, we don't even express. But as and when required, we may be expressing these feelings to others. Those are referred to as expressed values. So if we take an example, if we have understood trust, and if we have the feeling of trust on intention, and I have this ensured in me, I have ensured the feeling of trust on intention on all, then when I go to express it to the other, it will be expressed in the form of complementarity. So with this feeling of trust on intention, I will be able to help the other. I will support the other. And I will be willing to collaborate with the other, assist the other. I will be comfortable with the other, and I will take responsibility in the relationship. So I will take equal responsibility in the relationship. So wherever the other is lacking, I will try to help. I will try to collaborate. I will try to sort of take responsibility wherever the other is lacking in responsibility. So that would be an example of, the expression of the feeling once it is ensured in me. And if there are any questions so far, we can take it. Otherwise, we'll go forward to the third step, which is the team development. So in the team development, yes, there is one. G. There is a hand raised. I think you all have mics. You can just unmute and speak. Achha, I'm sorry, this person.
Namaskar, ma'am.
Namaste. Namaste.
Actually, I have a dilemma to ask regarding everything is going smoothly.
Ji.
Everything is going smoothly within me. And suddenly some baggage of the past arrives and which influence me again and again. And I strike with that.
Mhm.
And again, I think all is in vain. Whatever effort I am trying to make myself in harmony, all in vain. So how to resolve it, ma'am?
Yeah. Are you attending the morning session?
Yes.
Yeah. So morning session itself, we are doing this. We are trying to work on this as we go forward on the steps. Right now, we have only reached step 4 in exercise 1. As we go forward in this,
Yes.
then you will see how we are, we can change our sanskar also, how we can change our,
Although I'm trying hard, but some of the time it is a kind of deja vu concept ki if same situation arrives with that kind of person, what should I do then?
Yeah. So we may have a very strong sanskar from the past. So
Yes, yes.
it may take a little more time to update a sanskar, which is a very deep-rooted sanskar within us. Some of the sanskars or acceptances may be like very weak, and as soon as we start working on them, they tend to drop off. Some may be very deep-rooted, and so they, the acceptances that we have within us, they may be so deep-rooted that we are not able to change them.
Yes. Actually, it happens that only one single person which is affecting more and more and again. And suddenly I realized ki itna mehnat kiya, all the hard work I had done in the past to make myself in harmony, all restless, all gone. That is the basic pain.
No, see, if we are getting influenced by the outside, by somebody else's behavior, ultimately it is my competence that is lacking. That is clear, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I want to know, where I actually lacking when I am trying hard so far.
This is what I'm saying, that when we are trying to work on our competence, we will find, we may think that we have understood and we have now the right feeling and all that is fine. But then some other situation comes up and we realize we again slipped back. That's when we
Exactly.
realize we don't have that right understanding, what is mentioned in this slide, you can see, right?
Yes, but now that what is good, I acknowledge it. Ki it is
Yeah.
just for 1 or 2 minutes, but
Yes.
sometimes it arrives that I until or unless it earlier in the past it happens for more than month and more than a year. Now it is just for a few minutes or it's like for a few hours, and then I realize I have to shift back.
Yeah, exactly. So that sanskar may have been so deep rooted from so long, and we
Yes.
weren't really paying attention to it.
Exactly.
Now that we are becoming aware, we are actually seeing results, but we are not really acknowledging all the way that we have come. We are just seeing, oh my God, I have so far to go. But if we look back and see, we have come a very long way.
Yes, yes.
So with that, we should feel good about this, that at least now we are able to see where we have to go, and we are making some effort, and we are already seeing so many changes. So it will
Yes.
happen. It may take little time, but it will happen.
Yes, Dee.
Ji.
That's I want to seek your guidance. Thank you, Dee. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much. So we'll move forward. We'll go to the third step of team development. So here, whatever we have been training on ourselves for developing the relationship, that part is already there, developing the relationship with the team, and also the development of skills. The skills part that will be covered in the next session in the evening, and to some extent in the projects discussion. Here we will be focusing mostly on the relationship part in the team. So if we see the relationships, we can have relationship with those who have more understanding than me, who are more responsible than me. And we may be having relationships with those who have little less understanding than me, are little less responsible than me. And, if we look at even, in the family or in the team, or, when we look at any relationship, we will find generally this, that, we may see that one person has a little more understanding, takes on a little more responsibility. The other may have a little less understanding, is a little less responsible. And yet the relationship can be very smooth, because if only one person also has this understanding, it can work. So even if we may feel right now that in my family, all this is happening, in my workplace, all this is happening, how do I go about it? If I am working on myself, if I am working on my own understanding, I am taking on more responsibility, then it will help to ease the relationship. And then with that feeling of relationship, we will be able to see how to complement the other, how to collaborate with the other. So we have, some of these relationships are listed here between parent and child, teacher and student, guide, mentor, spouse, siblings, friends, and so on, colleagues, teammates, and all. So here we'll be focusing on the team. Now this is, where that example that Vinay ji had mentioned, that in tradition, certain sanskar ceremonies are there. So here, we can see that right now we may think that a child has less understanding, or the self is less developed or less evolved, because somewhere we may be identifying ourselves as the body. So we think that if the body is small, the development of the self is also small. But that is not necessarily true. And the self of a child may be more evolved than the self of the parent, or the self of the student may be more evolved than the self of the teacher. But if we are working towards a humane society, and if we can have a homogeneously humane society, then we may find that this small child will probably, with the right guidance, get more and more understanding as the child gets older. Also, we'll be able to see when we talk about culture, and culture is that collective thought. So when the collective thought is good for the society, with that, that also has an influence on the sanskar of the individual. So it works both ways. when we update our sanskar, we contribute to the collective thought of the society, and that society also, when it has the right collective thought, it helps impact the sanskar of the individual in that society. And it will become a little more clear when we get to society. But since that question had come up, I thought I'll mention it here. Coming to the teammates, the relationship between teammates. So as a team, if we see, our primary goal is the same. We are all trying to work for our development mutually, for our own development and each other's development. And we are making some collaborative effort, trying to achieve some goals in the projects that we are doing, trying to impact, make a difference. So how would the relationship among team members be? Certainly, we can have concern for each other's happiness, just like how I am concerned about my happiness. I can also see that every other individual aspires to be happy in continuity. So I can have concern about the other's happiness. If the other person as a teammate has a problem, then I can also see that this is a problem for the teammate, and I can look at it like it is my own problem and have that commitment, make that effort to help the other person solve that problem, just like how I would do for my own problem. So to have this kind of a relationship between the team members, we need to come back to the feelings that we talked about in the first slide today that we talked about of relationship, the feelings. So feeling of trust definitely is required, because that is the foundation without which no relationship can work. So at the minimum, trust definitely is required. We can see that respect is also necessary, because we are doing so many things together. We are working together so closely. We have a close relationship with each other. And with this, we need to have the right evaluation. In fact, if we see, we are related to all. So the right evaluation is necessary for all eventually. The feeling of respect needs to be there for all. But as team members, feeling of trust, feeling of respect, and also the feeling of affection. Only when we have a feeling of affection do we really feel that relationship with the other. We feel the other is my relative. So these three at least is the minimum for this relationship among the team members. For this mutual development, that is our focus that we want to establish for all of us in the team. For that to take place, we all need to live with responsibility. So like we mentioned, if I have more understanding, I am committed to help the other. If the other has more understanding, then I should be willing and I should be able to take help from the other. That would be required, isn't it? If we look at the relationship between a guide and a mentor and the teammate, so the guide or mentor can help the teammate in his or her self-development with affection. At the bare minimum, there should be trust on intention. There should not be reaction. There should not be doubt on intention. Similarly, the teammate should be able to recognize the excellence or the effort for excellence that is being made by the guide or mentor and have the feeling of glory for the guide or mentor. If you look at the guide should have that sense of complete responsibility for whatever program is being made, make the plan, chalk out the steps, for implementation. And the teammate should be able to recognize the responsibility for that program and help to fulfill it. So there may be various roles to be fulfilled, and the teammates can, based on their skill and based on, you know, their competence, can recognize and fulfill these roles with commitment. So that is about the team. So far, any questions? Then we can take that. Otherwise, we'll go on to the fourth step. G. So we'll go on to the fourth step then. So the fourth step would be the societal development. Again, here there would be two parts: the development of the relationship, which we'll be talking about here, and the development of the skills part will be covered in the next session and in the projects like we spoke of. So if you look at the society, in tradition also, many ways have been developed to articulate this, you know, importance of the relationship and harmony in the society. So whatever we have talked about, nothing is new. Nothing is something very different from what has been done in the past. The words or the expression may be a little different, but essentially this has been going on for a long time in the past. And there are various formulations of these. This is there in the course. Of course, we are not going to go into depth in all these, but just as an example, some things have been put forward. Like there is a formulation in the Gita, there is a formulation by Patanjali about, you know, the Ashtang Marg, Ashtang Yoga. Then there is the Dharmarth Kam Moksha formulation from the Upanishads, the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, and there may be many more. So essentially, the central idea or the central theme of all these formulations is to be able to live in harmony with all. So to be in a conducive, helpful environment. And with this environment, when we make effort for our own self-development, to organize ourselves in line, to organize the activities within ourselves in line with the higher activities within us, when we make that effort to develop this right understanding, the knowledge, then we have the capacity to live in harmony. So this system is a feedback system. When we live in harmony, when we are in that conducive, helpful environment, that helps us in this process of self-development. And when we have this process of self-development going on within us, then we are able to live in harmony in a much better manner. So these tend to sort of, you know, give, it's like a feedback loop to each other. Yes, I think there is one question before we go forward, and we can take that question.
Another question, ma'am?
Ji, namaste.
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 When we talk of UHP, we say it is religion agnostic, no? Any religion is possible.
Ji.
So right now, I just found in the previous slide that relationship and harmony, you're talking of Gita, Buddhism, that means Hindu and Buddhism. Would it be, would we need to research to find in other religions? And how is it in Muslims and Christians and other religions?
Yeah, certainly those courses are being developed. This is just an example. This is just some of the formulations. Of course, like I said, there are many, many formulations.
Right.
And in fact, if you look at, you know, the courses that are being developed, they are in progress. But Jainism, that course was there, and then
Jainism was there, yes, correct.
Yes, and the course on Christianity was being developed.
Right.
And similarly, you know, like
Maybe,
that.
maybe suggestion that you could mention them here. Otherwise, it gives a feeling that.
Yes,
Others are
certainly
not
we
there.
can do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you.
This was just as an example.
Yeah, agree. Yes.
Yeah, true. Is there another hand raised?
Yeah, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon to everyone. Madam, I just have a small doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, you said living in harmony. It's a closed loop cycle like that. Living in harmony, then conducive will become, make effort to self-organize activities. Understanding again, if we are in that status, then it will continue or improve in our living in harmony. That's what we understood. It's like a closed loop system cycle, madam. In that, for developing right understanding, so only when we develop right understanding, then I think we will be reaching the status of living in harmony. So out of these two, probably the bottom one will be the initial activity. Am I right, madam? Or I don't know. You have to clarify, madam.
Certainly we have to make effort to organize the activities within ourselves, which is what we are doing in the morning session.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so we make that effort, but now because we have this conducive environment where we are, as a group together, we are working on this, making effort for our own self-development. It is helpful, isn't it?
Yes,
if we were not in such a group, if we were not in such an environment, it would be more difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
So having this conducive environment, we are working to for better self-development, to organize our activities in line with our higher self or higher activities or natural acceptance, to gain this right understanding. Now with this, when we participate in the society, then we are also helping to form that conducive, helpful environment. So it will become easier for others also to make effort for their own self-development. But to be able to do that, I would have to start with myself, isn't it? Because somebody has provided this environment to me. I am taking help from that. Ji?
Not able to hear your voice.
What is that? I didn't understand.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm ready.
What your question was answered? Is that what you're saying? Hello, Prabhakaran ji?
I think some network issue with the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think it was clear. No, is there? Prabhakaran ji has raised his hand again.
Yeah. So
Yes.
there is a connectivity issue in my end.
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm able to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So were you able to, was the point able to be clarified to you or no?
Yeah, I understood.
Ji.
Yeah, I understood. First self, then we can extend that into society. So
Yes.
living in harmony, and this becomes continuous affair. It's a close loop. Yeah.
Ji.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, we can talk a little bit about culture, civilization, and tradition also. So here also we are trying to sort of put that across in this slide. So we start with the individual level with ourselves, trying to have the right understanding, the right sanskar within ourselves. And when we do that, ultimately it leads to a type of culture which has this right understanding and right sanskar. So the collective thought is one with the right sanskar, right understanding. And this, like we said, can be it forms like a loop, a feedback loop, which helps to provide that conducive environment for every individual to work on developing the self, having the right understanding within the self, having the right sanskars, the right feeling, right thought. When this culture or this collective thought process is expressed in the form of behavior, work, and participation, that is being termed the civilization. So if the collective thought is one which stems from right understanding and right sanskar, then it will lead to a civilization which also has the expression coming from the right understanding and the right sanskar. So that will show up in behavior that is definite, with definite participation, isn't it? And that kind of a civilization and that kind of a culture, both culture and civilization, if we, with this collective thought and expression of this collective thought, when we try to take it generation through generation, connecting the past with today and bringing it into the future, that forms the tradition. So ultimately, all of these are sort of feedback loops to each other. And like we mentioned from the beginning, it starts with the individual level, starting with the right understanding and sanskar within ourselves. If you look at the culture, the key goal of culture is the development of each and every individual, developing the right understanding, feeling, and thought, and purifying the sanskar. So as the sanskars get purified, as each and every individual starts having development of right understanding within themselves, right feelings, right thoughts, it is updating that whole culture. The basic effort in every culture is to try and sort of help in this process, to help each and every individual develop this right understanding, feeling, and thought. So this can be done through formal education and informal education. So when we talk of formal education, anyway, we are all familiar with. The informal education happens right from birth onwards. So in the family, in the community, among the friends, among, interactions with the relatives, society, neighbors, and so on. We are all learning things from everywhere. When we have people interactions, so like we were mentioning earlier, at significant points in life, at birth, at marriage, at death, and so many others ceremonies that we have. These can be reminders for this self-development. At various festivals and ceremonies that we have, these can all be reminders for sort of making that effort for developing the right understanding, right feeling and thought, and living with each other in harmony. Similarly, in so many programs are there, so many places through which informally we learn through this culture. So there can be music programs, there can be dance performances, skits, dance dramas, plays, speeches, so many things from which we learn. It generates a certain feeling, a certain thought, and it also reminds us about this goal eventually that needs to be met. So that is what the effort has been in culture so far. And that effort has to continue. But as more and more people have the development of right understanding, feeling, and thought, as more and more individuals go through that process of purifying the sanskar, then it can lead to an updating of the culture with, more and more of the right understanding percolating into that culture. Now, if you look at the scope of transmission of the sanskar from generation to generation, so in the family, we can think about our everyday living in the family. How is it like? Are we really, spending time with each other in the family? Are we talking about our feelings with one another? Or are we mostly focused on the doing part? Are we mostly focused on the activities, what needs to be done on a daily basis? But we may not be interacting with each other in terms of, really expressing our feelings, ensuring our feelings. So when we are sort of ensuring our feelings and then expressing those feelings and discussing them with, say, our children, in the family, then with that we can transmit some of the sanskars, like Ravindraji was mentioning about, respecting the elders. That might be a sanskar we may have got from our family. So like that, we can, these kind of things, the sanskars can get transmitted from generation to generation. But because we are at a stage where the sanskars are all mixed, therefore we have to check, verify with our natural acceptance, each and every sanskar, see, is it in line with my natural acceptance? Not in line. But eventually, once we get to right understanding, we would have sort of sanskars in line with that right understanding. Then we don't have to keep checking each and every imagination that we have, because then it will just flow from that right understanding. Having the right understanding will lead to the right sanskar, and then the right feeling, right thought, and right expectation, and therefore right behavior. Similarly, in the family functions that we have, when we meet with others on certain occasions, when we may gather for a meal together, or when we do birthday celebrations, or we have certain family customs, where is the focus that we can see? Are we keeping our focus on that goal of self-development? Are we keeping our focus on having the right understanding, passing on that to others in the family, and working with that? Or is our focus shifting to the outside? In social functions also, when we talk of social functions or whatever, we are attending various functions, we are having certain functions in our homes. Where is our focus? Are these serving as reminders for us to work for our eventual goal of evolving the self? Or is that goal forgotten and we are sort of forgetting about that and focusing on the outside and on how to sort of enjoy the occasion? So those things, there can be a lot of scope in this transmission of sanskar from one generation to another through all of these small things that we may be doing every day that we may think are insignificant, or we may think, we are talking of very high goals and where are we and how will it match? But these small steps that we keep taking every day at every level can have a huge impact eventually on the whole society. So similarly, when we're talking of the team, we can think about, when we interact with our team members, how would it be? How would our relationship be with our team members? When we talk of team events, then what would be our focus on team events? How would our relationship be with each other in these events? Where would our focus be? If we are talking of certain projects, then how would our participation be at the individual level and as a team? So between the teams, how would it be? Would we identify only with a particular team, or would we identify with the bigger purpose, that goal of mutual development. We may be in different teams, but ultimately our goal for mutual development is similar for all of us. So how would we look at this? And how would we participate in our efforts for the projects? So this we can think about, and this is an open kind of a thing that we are just putting across, and we can all sort of think about it. So to sum up, we started and we are doing this working on ourselves at the individual level, trying to understand, trying to update our sanskar. With that, we can try to have the right kind of culture, the collective thought, which is with that understanding and the right sanskar as the focus, which again will help us further, to for other individuals also to have this right understanding and sanskar. And with this culture, that expression of that culture in the form of the civilization would reflect in definite behavior that leads to mutual happiness. It would lead to work that leads to mutual prosperity for all of us. And it would lead to each and every person in that civilization seeing their participation in this whole process. And eventually, again, that would reflect back on, as a feedback loop, it would work on the collective thought of people and so on. And eventually we can try to get this in continuity, generation after generation, as tradition. So all of these we can see will be like feedback loops, starting with the individual self. So we can think about this and what we can do for our own individual development and the team development. So this is what I had to share, and we can take your observations.
Yeah.
G.
Yeah. Just but how do we look at a cross cultural? Because now today we have people from north lying to south, east to west. Even in India we say unity in diversity. How does this account for and even now, even in UHV we have different teams, from south, north, east, west. How does this account for that cross-cultural? I'm not bringing the country part as yet, in terms of globalization. But within our country itself, now no longer we are limited to being in the west or in the east. We all have different marriages, and we of course follow the tradition of the boy deciding what sort of marriage to have. But how does this account for that cross-cultural sanskar?
Yeah.
Is that emerging, or is it something?
Yeah. So if we look at the collective thought, if we are trying to see that our focus when it is on the right understanding and right sanskar,
right?
For that there is no boundary of religion or place or nation or whatever. That is something that is required for all. That right understanding and right sanskar. And if we can have that as a collective thought, not just for UHV team, but beyond that, and if we extend that circle more and more, then there is no boundary. There is no religion that is beyond this. There is no nation that is beyond this. All of this will be included as a global, this is something that can be thought of as collective thought for all. Only the expression part may vary from place to place in terms of, the words that are expressed, the language that may be used, the forms in which this is put out. So those may be a little bit different, but ultimately, if you see at the base, the understanding and the sanskar at the, the feeling, up to the feeling level can be something very similar. The thoughts may vary a little bit based on still having the right thoughts, but there could be more variety as we increase that circle. And that is also fine, as long as we are trying to keep the thoughts in line with the right feeling. And that feeling is coming from the right sanskar, which is coming from right understanding.
Would it be convergence of traditions?
Ji?
Convergence of traditions, convergence in the sense. Like in our own family, my son-in-law is Gujarati, right? In some other family, son-in-law is a Bengali. Would there be convergence in traditions? Like the same Diwali is celebrated in different ways.
Yeah, so these are all expressions, isn't it?
Expressions. Okay.
Ultimately, at the level of the understanding, there can be similarity in the level of, at the level of understanding. So if we look at the reality is only one. So understanding of the reality will also be one. But when we sort of interact with others, our expression of that may vary a little bit. But if we go back to the understanding, so, our language may be a little different, our way of dressing may be a little different, the type of food we eat may be a little different, but ultimately we all want to live in harmony with each other. We all want to live in relationship with each other. So that part is,
Yeah, so that's why I think it will be a convergence of traditions.
Yeah, I mean, you could call it that. I would say that, then religion is not any bar, or the nationality is not a bar, or,
Right.
which state we come from should not be a bar.
Right.
Ji.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, any other observations are there? We still
Am I
have-
audible, ma'am? Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're audible, Sadhanji.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, whatever you were stating with reference to Mohan sir's query, that's clearly depicted in this feedback loop that I have designed. Because whenever you think in terms of right understanding and sanskar, as it is the maybe shown at the top, but it can be the bottom line of everything. If we take the loop in this particular way, where it leads to a culture that is a collective thought, as you have stated well, it may go across a provincial state, it may go across nation. And naturally, we think in terms of globalization today, with reference to culture as the tag point, where we refer to the collective thought based on right understanding and right sanskar that we are already referring with reference to living. And at the same time, you have already stated that civilization, that is an expression of our behavior, work, and participation. So this behavior, work, and participation is again based on our right understanding and right sanskar. And at the same time, it refers to the collective thought. So if there is any problem in the thought process, we generally consult the collective thought. That is why we talk of culture. And as Mohan sir was referring to the cross-cultural reference, so we can touch over here that cross-culture we can refer whenever there is some sort of culture that we need to adopt or adapt for the future. So if it comes to us that yes, this particular culture or that particular component of that culture would be highly helpful for us, that we generally take up, because we have that capacity to include so many cultures within the fold of Indian culture that we are already having. And you have also referred very correctly, that is reference of the tradition, which is nothing but change in continuity or the continuous urge of updation. And that is the very striking note at your beginning, that we generally update our sanskar. So in keeping that view in mind, we can update our right understanding as we always do. We can easily update our sanskar, we can update our culture also. And naturally, we proceed towards civilization, taking a cue from the tradition. Very nicely depicted, ma'am. Thank you.
Ji, thank you. I would just mention that, understanding, if we have the understanding, then we don't need to update it. Because once we have the right understanding, that is, we are able to see that reality as it is. And the reality is only one. So once we have the right understanding, it is something definite. Then we don't have to update it. It is just that when we have certain assumptions which are not based on this right understanding, those are forming some sanskars which may not be the right sanskars. Those, we'll have to keep through this process, we can update and get to the right understanding.
Yes, ma'am. That I mean that our acceptance needs to be aligned with natural acceptance.
Yes, yes.
Only then there won't be any problem.
True.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ji, thank you. Yes, if there is any other observation or question or clarification, we have maybe 4-5 minutes more.
Maybe a random question. How does this fall into NEP? How do we look at NEP? National Education Policy. What do we need to do from our side as faculty and teachers? And just because I thought this was, we had done some homework in this. I don't say done complete homework, but it is a document of NEP with the UHV. That.
Ji. So this, I think we will be able to talk about it further.
Okay.
Maybe
sure.
Ganesh ji is there. Maybe I just made a mistake. I thought we are running short of time, but we have till 4:30, in fact.
Yeah, 4:30.
So,
yes.
Ji. So maybe if Ganesh ji could maybe respond to that question on the NEP. Okay, maybe later we'll do that.
Sure. Yes. Okay.
Ji. If there is some more hands raised.
मुझे लगता है आप एक बार कंप्लीट कर लीजिए तो
जी,
फिर हम
जी
अभी तो टाइम है, आधा घंटे हैं।
हाँ, बट हमारा तो ये प्रेजेंटेशन तो कंप्लीट हो गया, थोड़ा इंटरैक्शंस और मतलब मीनू जी का कुछ क्वेश्चन है शायद, मैं देख लेती हूँ। जी
दीदी
जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते दीदी, नमस्ते सभी को। दीदी, when I look at this feedback loop, a question comes into my mind that if we look at our current state, the state in which right now we are. So, Didi, does that mean that we have suffered from discontinuity with tradition and the connectedness, and that has led to civilizational problem with our culture, and I mean the trouble that all of us have when we look at our own understanding, our sanskar and so on?
Ji. So certainly, that tradition was not able to follow through, but even so, that may have happened. Now what to do? So if it was part of our education system, then we would have been, exposed to this working towards self-development right from the beginning. But that didn't happen. In our education, we weren't exposed to that kind of environment. In the society also, still, if you see, I think in a lot of ways in India, some traditions are continuing, and there is still a lot of goodness in that, a lot of sanskars develop through just seeing the things around us, the culture, the way it is, the civilization, the way it is, the expression in terms of the behavior. Like, if you see, like the other day we were discussing in the morning session that, if you have, say now, before the Sera. So, in small areas, in small pockets, you will find people doing dance dramas about the Ramayana, replaying that whole story. Putting forward in front of the people the goodness of human nature, the what would be a representation of an ideal individual who has this understanding, has the right sanskars, is able to have the right behavior with everyone regardless of how they behave with him, and so on. So this kind of sort of informal education is still percolating through in small pockets. But if we could do this on a much larger scale with the right understanding, not just as something that comes forward as a behavior to emulate, but basing that behavior on our own right understanding, to be able to check within ourselves and have the right understanding within ourselves, and then have eventually the behavior based on all this. So having the right understanding, developing the right sanskars, then with that right sanskar, having the right feeling, having the right thought, having the right expectation, and ultimately translating to the right behavior in the outside world. So if we could have that kind of a system in place, then it would help for every individual to, get that that conducive environment to work on themselves. So we can work from both sides. We can work from the formal education system, which we are trying to do through these UHV programs. We can also, through our teams and the development of the teams and the projects in the teams, work sort of informally also in the outside, through all these various forms, through bringing these thoughts, the expression of these thoughts in behavior in terms of the culture. For those who have an interest in those areas, they can work on them, and so have sort of raise the collective thought that is there today, raise it to bringing the focus to the need for understanding for all. Ji.
Ji Didi, thank you.
Thank you. विकास गोयल जी.
दीदी नमस्ते.
नमस्ते.
दीदी थोड़ा सा मैं मतलब हिंदी के कुछ अप्रोप्रिएट वर्ड मतलब सजेस्ट कर सकते हैं आप कल्चर, सिविलाइजेशन और ट्रेडिशन के लिए. उन वर्ड्स को यहाँ पर मैं पुट करना चाह रहा हूँ, जिन वर्ड्स को पुट करके इनका मीनिंग निकल आए. जैसे कल्चर है तो कल्चर का हम मतलब हिंदी मीनिंग हम लिख सकते हैं विचारधाराएं, तो वो उसका एक हिंदी मीनिंग यहाँ निकल कर भी आता है कलेक्टिव थॉट्स. तो उसी तरीके से अगर सिविलाइजेशन और ट्रेडिशन को अगर हम लिखना चाहें तो हम किस तरीके से लिखेंगे? इफ यू कैन.
इसमें मुझे थोड़ी सी हेल्प चाहिए होगी, मे बी.
संस्कृति, सभ्यता और परंपरा.
हाँ, करेक्ट. जी.
थैंक यू भैया. थैंक यू.
जी. Any other observations?
हाँ, उमेश जी की बात ज्यादा ठीक है, विचारधारा की जगह है संस्कृति शब्द ज्यादा उपयुक्त है, क्योंकि कलेक्टिव थॉट जो है वो विचारधारा के स्थान पर एक्चुअली कलेक्टिव संस्कार मुझे लगता है कि ज्यादा, तो संस्कार से संस्कृति शब्द उसमें से आता है।
करेक्ट, ठीक बात है रजनी जी। जी जी, तो अगर और कोई ऑब्जर्वेशन, हाँ देयर इज वन मोर हैंड रेज्ड। मंगलदीप जी।
जी जी नमस्ते दीदी, सभी को नमस्ते। दीदी जिस तरह आपने हमें अभी ये चीजों को समझाया कि हमारे पास कुछ इस तरह के कोर्सेज इंट्रोड्यूस होंगे जैसे बुद्धिज्म का चल रहा है या फिर गीता के ऊपर है, तो जो हम यहाँ पे बात रख रहे हैं कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड संस्कार एट इंडिविजुअल लेवल, तो ये इन कोर्सेज को जब हम अगर मेरी इच्छा अगर मैं इनको करती हूँ तो इसमें ये चीज तो होगी कि मेरी जो राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसमें उसको बढ़ावा मिलेगा, उसमें हेल्प रहेगी। और जहाँ पे भी मैं लैकिंग कर रही हूँ इन पर्टिकुलर जो हमारी संस्कृति है इसकी स्टडी करने के बाद, तो ऐसा ये चीज पॉसिबल है इसमें कि मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग इंक्रीज होगी अगर मैं इसकी जितनी डेप्थ में जाऊंगी या जितना वो मुझे मदद करेंगी ये चीजें।
मदद होगी, सहायता मिलेगी उस प्रोसेस में, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसको, जो रियलिटी है उसको हमें खुद देखना पड़ेगा अपने लिए। इवेंचुअली उसी से हमारी राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग डेवलप होगी, हमारी जो सही समझ है, जो हम पूरी सृष्टि जैसी है उसको हम वैसा देख पाएं। जब तक हम अपने लिए खुद नहीं देख पाएंगे वो कंप्लीटनेस नहीं आएगी राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग में। फिर वो एक मान्यता बन सकती है कि हमने ये पढ़ा तो यही ठीक है।
तो दीदी लेकिन इंडिविजुअल में मेरे में इतना कॉम्पिटेंस अभी नहीं है कि मैं खुद देख पाऊँ या समझ पाऊँ, तो मुझे कोई ना कोई इस तरह का सहारा या जो डिपेंडेंसी मेरी रहेगी इन चीजों के ऊपर जिससे मैं इसको एक्सप्लोर कर सकूं और अपनी राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे काम कर सकूं।
नहीं जी जी बिल्कुल, मतलब सहायता तो डेफिनेटली इन सब चीजों से मिलेगी ही। मैं बस इतना कह रही हूँ कि इन सब की सहायता लेते हुए हमें अपने ऊपर भी काम करना ही पड़ेगा, बिकॉज उसके बिना ये कंप्लीटनेस, राइट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, जो सही समझ की बात हो रही है, ये हमारे में नहीं बन पाएगा। क्योंकि फिर हम कहीं से जो भी हमने पढ़ा या सुना उसके बेसिस पे हम कुछ मान लेंगे, लेकिन उसकी कंटिन्यूटी पॉसिबल नहीं होगी हमारे लिए, क्योंकि हम अपने आप के लिए, हम खुद के लिए अभी देख नहीं पाए होंगे। आप मॉर्निंग सेशन में आ रहे हैं?
जी जी दीदी, मैं रेगुलर होती हूँ वहाँ पर। और
हाँ तो बस ठीक है ना, तो आप काम वहाँ पे भी कर रहे हैं, बाकी आप ना जो भी ट्रेडिशन में है उन सब से भी आप सहायता ले सकते हैं, उन सब से भी हेल्प होगी। बट अपने ऊपर काम करते रहना है, और साथ में ये सब जो ऑलरेडी हैं फॉर्मुलेशंस, उन सब से सहायता ले सकते हैं।
जी दीदी
जी। अखिलेश वर्मा जी।
नमस्ते शर्मिला जी।
नमस्ते नमस्ते।
मेरा प्रश्न ये है कि जैसे आज की स्थिति में हम देखते हैं तो काफी कुछ हम लोग जो अभी काम कर रहे हैं वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे फोकस्ड है।
जी।
और अगर कल्चर, सिविलाइजेशन और ट्रेडिशन को देखें तो एक मेरे को थोड़ा सा ये समझने का प्रयास करना है कि अभी हमारा जो इम्पैक्ट है वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग से तो दिखता है अपने में, जो हम प्रयास करते हैं, लेकिन कल्चर, सिविलाइजेशन, ट्रेडिशन को हम ऑब्जर्व नहीं कर पाते। या इस तरीके से कहें कि मैं ये कहूँ कि 10% अगर मैं एफर्ट करता हूँ अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए, तो कल्चर का कितना एफर्ट हो रहा होगा, या सिविलाइजेशन का कितना एफर्ट हो रहा होगा, या ट्रेडिशन का कितना एफर्ट हो रहा होगा, या वाइसा वर्सा इन बेस्ट केस। और वर्स्ट केस में क्या होगा कि जैसे कि मान लीजिए कि ट्रेडिशन है ही नहीं, सिविलाइजेशन है ही नहीं, कल्चर है ही नहीं, तो फिर अंडरस्टैंडिंग की शुरुआत में तो सबसे पहले एक व्यक्ति शुरू करेगा, फिर वो कल्चर डेवलप करेगा, फिर वो सिविलाइजेशन में कन्वर्ट होगा, फिर ट्रेडिशन बनेगा, फिर वो वापस साइकिल कंप्लीट होगी। तो आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में हम कहाँ पे अपने को देखते हैं कि कौन किसको फुलफिल कर रहा है। जैसे कल्चर अंडरस्टैंडिंग को कितना फुलफिल कर रहा है और अंडरस्टैंडिंग कल्चर को कितना फुलफिल कर रहा है इन टर्म्स ऑफ करंट लिविंग, आज के जीने में देखें तो। और प्रीवियस अगर मान लीजिए कोई केस स्टडी देखें कि किसी काल में ऐसा हुआ हो कि सिविलाइजेशन ने इतनी ग्रोथ कर दी अंडरस्टैंडिंग में, या कल्चर ने इतनी ग्रोथ कर दी अंडरस्टैंडिंग में, तो एक हमें ये एक आइडिया लगता है कि हमें फोकस में किन किन चीज़ों को लाना है। मतलब कि ऐसा नहीं हम कल्चर को छोड़ दें या सिविलाइजेशन को छोड़ दें या ट्रेडिशन को छोड़ दें, सभी का महत्व है। तो रिलेशनशिप हमें ऐसा तो दिखता है कि ये फीडबैक दिख रहा है कि नीचे से ऊपर भी जाता है, ऊपर से नीचे भी जाता है, लेकिन हम कहाँ पे स्लिप हो रहे हैं या कितनी चीज को हम देख नहीं पा रहे हैं।
जी, तो मुझे लगता है कि जो ये बात अभी हुई थी कि पहले जो अगर हम अपनी जो ट्रेडिशन में जो फॉर्मुलेशंस हैं ऑलरेडी उनको अगर स्टडी करें तो ऐसा दिखता है कि किसी समय पे इन सब बातों पे बहुत सोचा गया था और बहुत कुछ किया गया था कि हम कुछ अभी एक फ्रेश स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, ऐसा भी नहीं है। हम अपने इंडिविजुअल लेवल से एक ना आगे बढ़ रहे हैं और फिर बाकी सबको हमको दिशा दिखानी है, सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं है। क्योंकि हम जो जितना कुछ भी हम देख पा रहे हैं अभी, उसमें पीछे जो ट्रेडिशन में बहुत कुछ ऑलरेडी कहा गया है, उसका एक बहुत बड़ा महत्व है मुझे लगता है। और अभी हमें ऐसा लगता है कि बाहर ना ट्रेडिशन में या कल्चर में कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं है, लेकिन अगर हम देखें तो बहुत कुछ अभी भी है जिसकी वजह से आज के दिन इतनी जो मैं कहूँगी सही समझ ना हो, लेकिन सही संस्कार अभी भी बहुत इंडिविजुअल्स में है जो कि ट्रेडिशन से ही आए हैं। क्योंकि हम कितने लोगों ने सही समझ पे अभी काम ना किया हो, बट फिर भी काफी हद तक सही संस्कार उनमें डेवलप हो रहे हों। तो जैसा एक छोटा सा उदाहरण मैं दूं कि एक माली बाबा थे जो पानी वगैरह डालते थे, तो उनसे कुछ बातचीत हो रही थी और एक उनसे एक बात हो रही थी कि भाई हमारा बेटा जो है वो कोई बात कर रहे थे कि वो उसका तो उसने जॉब जो कर रहा था उसमें उसको बहुत दूर जाना पड़ रहा था और बहुत टाइम लग रहा था, तो अब उसने अपना जॉब छोड़ दिया, हमारे साथ में है, हमारे घर में है। तो उनका ये कहना था कि चलो अच्छा है, क्योंकि उनको थोड़ा आइडिया हो गया था कि वो बच्चा ना अलग उसके टाइमिंग्स थे, नाइट शिफ्ट था या कुछ था। उसने कहा कि कम से कम सब साथ में मिलके एक साथ बैठ के रात की रोटी खा लें, दिन की रोटी खा लें साथ में, वो ज़्यादा अच्छा है। ये कमाई और पैसा तो आता रहेगा, ऐसे करके। सो नाउ सच अ सिंपल स्टेटमेंट, लेकिन अभी ये जो इंडिविजुअल है ये कोई पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, ये कुछ ना कहीं से भी ऐसा वो कोई बहुत इनको ये ज्ञान हुआ हो, ये भी नहीं है। लेकिन अब उनका संस्कार वैसा है कि वो ट्रेडिशन से आया है, भले ही उनको उसका ना एग्जैक्ट सिग्निफिकेंस ना समझ में आए, बट इतना तो समझ में आया कि ये बहुत ज़रूरी है या ये परिवार के लिए एक ना नेसेसिटी है ऑलमोस्ट। तो मुझे लगता है कि ऐसे करके बहुत चीज़ें हैं, जैसा कि अभी जो बात हो रही थी कि जो डांस ड्रामा होते हैं रामायण को इनैक्ट करते हैं या कुछ ऐसा है, अगर आप देखेंगे तो जो एक्टर्स होते हैं जो प्ले करते हैं राम का पार्ट या जो भी है, तो जब वो फिनिश करते हैं तो जो लोग देख रहे होते हैं वो जा के जो एक्टर राम होता है उसके पैर छूते हैं, उससे ब्लेसिंग्स लेते हैं, बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं वो ये देख पा रहे हैं कि ये एक सॉर्ट ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ एन आइडियल स्टेट है, जबकि जिसमें कि आप ना समझ के साथ एक आइडियल तरीके से दूसरों के साथ इंटरेक्ट करेंगे, अपने बिहेवियर में डेफिनेट रहेंगे, तो भले ही उनको वो वर्ड्स ना हो, लेकिन उनको ये तो दिखता है कि ये एक ऐसी स्थिति है जिसमें कि हम ना उनको ऑलमोस्ट वर्शिप कर रहे हैं। तो इस तरह से मुझे लगता है कि अपने ट्रेडिशन में अभी भी बहुत कुछ है, और सिविलाइजेशन में भी, सिविलाइजेशन से, कल्चर से हम लोग अभी भी बहुत कुछ ड्रॉ करते हैं, लेकिन ये है कि अब सब मिक्सअप हो गया है, इसलिए हमको खुद को इवैल्यूएट करना पड़ेगा इसमें क्या सही है और क्या नहीं। जी, ऐसा मैं सोच रही थी।
थैंक यू दीदी।
जी जी, थैंक यू। एक और हैंड रेज्ड है, निक्की जी, फिर उसके बाद मैं गणेश जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी वो बात कर।
दीदी मैं अपनी एक बात साझा करना चाहती हूँ, एक थॉट है। एसेंस तो दीदी सभी का एक है ना, हम किसी भी रास्ते से जाएं,
जी जी,
बाइबल को पढ़ें, गीता, कुरान, गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब, हम
बिल्कुल
कोई भी आध्यात्म का रास्ता या किसी भी तरीके का, सब इक्वानिमिटी ऑफ थॉट्स की बात कर रहे हैं।
जी,
एक चीज जो मेरे जहन में बहुत बार आती है दीदी, कि ये इस्कॉन वाले जो हैं, जो ये फॉलो करते हैं, ये हमारी सभ्यता से नहीं थे, तो भी यहाँ आकर इन्होंने हमारे उस एसेंस को लिया और उसी एसेंस को हमारी सोसाइटी को लौटाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, जो हम में है एक्चुअली में, हम नहीं जान पा रहे, बट ये लोग हमें आके रियलाइज करा रहे हैं कि ये तो आपकी सोसाइटी का पार्ट है और आप इसे नहीं देख पा रहे हो इतने सालों तक, ऑल्दो वी आर प्रोग्रेसिंग टुवर्ड्स देयर कल्चर, and on the contrary they are performing our rituals, our art, like that टीका संस्कार, तिलक जो हम बोलते हैं, घर पे निकलने से पहले आप तिलक लगा कर जाओ और आप प्यूरिफाई रहेंगे पूरे दिन। तो ऐसा क्यों है कि हमें ये बात समझ नहीं आ रही और उन्हें आकर हमें समझाना पड़ रहा है? तो ये बताता दीदी मेरे।
जी, देखिए ये जो है ना, कुछ मेरे हिसाब से कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, बट ऐसा भी नहीं है कि पूरे वेस्ट में सही समझ फैल गई है और हमें ही नहीं दिख पा रही है, ऐसा भी नहीं है। तो हमारे यहाँ भी बहुत अच्छे अच्छे एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, बहुत से एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, लेकिन एंड ऑफ द डे सिर्फ इकोनॉमिटी ऑफ थॉट्स वो कहाँ से आएगी? अल्टीमेटली हम सबको वो रियलिटी को देखना पड़ेगा खुद। तो भले ही वो इस्कॉन हो, भले ही वो गीता हो, या जो भी एवेन्यू हम चूज करें जिससे कि हम इंस्पिरेशन ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं, दैट कैन बी एन इंस्पिरेशन, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली वो रियलिटी को हमको खुद देखना पड़ेगा। वो बात जो है वो बहुत एसेंशियल है।
ऐसा तो नहीं है कि ये लोग भी किसी मान्यता के तहत इंडिया में आकर इस तरीके की चीजों को डेवलप कर रहे हैं? इज इट सो?
I mean, I would not like to go there even, because for me it is not about us and them. It is that there is no boundary. कोई nation की boundary नहीं है यहाँ। हम जिसकी बात कर रहे हैं, it is something universal. तो सही समझ सब में जरूरी है, सही संस्कार सब में जरूरी है, चाहे वो वेस्ट के हो, चाहे ईस्ट के हो, चाहे कहीं के भी हो। तो हमारे देश में बैठे हैं, हमारे से ये लिया, it doesn't matter. जो भी है, अब जो भी हमें समझ में आ रहा है, हम इनफैक्ट जब समझने लगते हैं तो एक स्पॉन्टेनिटी के साथ हम उसको शेयर करने जाते हैं। फिर अगर हम शेयर करने जाते हैं, हमें दिखता है कि हर ह्यूमन बीइंग के लिए ये जरूरी है, तो चाहे वो ह्यूमन बीइंग इस कंट्री का हो, इस स्टेट का हो, मेरे लैंग्वेज बोलता हो, नहीं बोलता हो, उससे कुछ मायने नहीं रहता, क्योंकि ultimately we have a relationship with each and every human being. So regardless of that, we want to sort of, we would like to have this understanding and right sanskar in every human being.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I will request now Ganesh ji, अगर आप वो क्वेश्चन जो आया था NEP के बारे में, उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा बता दें।
जी, प्रश्न को एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे?
जी, आई थिंक मोहन राव जी का क्वेश्चन था ना?
नमस्ते गणेश जी। वो था कि ये सब जो हम बात कर रहे थे आज, फैमिली कल्चर वगैरह, वो हाउ डज it help us to follow the NEP, in the sense, or in line with NEP. How do we transmit that down to the students and faculty? I thought the session was related to UHV's dimension of NEP. उसी पे संदर्भ है जी. Hope I'm clear, sir. Yeah.
हेलो
हाँ सर.
एनईपी से क्या आशय है आपका? नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी?
जी 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 सर. मतलब ये जो आज हमारी डिस्कशन जो हुई थी सब कल्चर पे, फैमिली पे, और किस तरह हमें आगे बढ़ना है, तो हाउ डू वी टेक फॉरवर्ड द एनईपी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एंड ऑन दैट, वो संदर्भ है.
देखिए, यहाँ जो हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं वो तो कोई भी ह्यूमन एजुकेशन एंड संस्कार की प्रक्रिया के बारे बात कर रहे हैं. तो दिस इज इन जनरल व्हाट विल बी द प्रोसेस ऑफ human education and sanskar, and also the process of transformation from where we are to a human society. So this is a very universal and general kind of approach that we are taking. Unfortunately, the education system that we have been following for last 70 years, and since independence, and around 150 years before that, has been designed in a manner that it largely talks about getting some job and getting some salary. So in that context, what new education policy is talking seems to be something very new, something very different. But if you look at the education system in India from long traditions, that education system has been talking about all this. It has been talking about the personal transformation. It has been talking about developing the right kind of culture and the civilization. And it has been talking about, developing the human society. So in that sense, it might look, that we are talking of something in the line of new education policy or the National Education Policy 2020. So, but what we are talking about is, what kind of education system would be there if we want to work for a human society. So this is the kind of context. But if you start with what we are saying and you want to see how this can be, way to go about ensuring what is expected in the NEP. Basically, the NEP is saying that we have two targets. One is development of full human potential, and the other is the just and equitable society. So if I have to, give an equivalent term, I would say that it is talking about the self-development of a human being, right? Who has this right understanding, right feeling, right thoughts, and with that, he can perform the right behavior, right work, and right participation in the societal order. And a just and equitable society would be what we are calling as a humane society, right? So there can be two different ways of saying this. One way is saying that developing the full human potential to ensure a just and human society. Or the other way could be, providing the right kind of education and sanskar, or human education and sanskar, giving rise to a human society. So they would almost look parallel. Okay. They would look parallel. And we have done some extensive work on this. We have come up, AICT has come up with this proposal on holistic value-based education, to realize the aspiration of NEP 2020. So if you see through that document, you will get, how these two things are, in fact, they seem to be similar, or they are similar.
Right. In fact, just a thought, when I read the document partially, read the passive thing, I just thought, can we say that all the projects the students do in their 4 years or 5 years of education, in the higher education, or even at the school level after 9th, 8th, 9th, should all of them relate to those 4 orders in terms of impacting family, impacting society, impacting nature? Can we bring in that thought process by which the development is useful for the everybody by and large? Because today, all the inventions that people make or things make are primarily related to so sole purpose of development, yes, but also in terms of money making. You make a license and make money. That's fine. But if that impacts the family, the entire society, maybe can we look at those dimensions of seeing that students do projects in that manner?
Yes, true. In fact, all that we are talking about, that has to be the perspective of right kind of education and sanskar. So both the content of education, the process of education has to be in line with, what we have been discussing, for last 2 days, and, even otherwise. And when it comes to the specific projects and things like that, certainly the projects would be related to, these different dimensions of human systems.
Yes.
Different societal systems, and what are the, different things that has to be done at the level of those different, systems, and how the students or whatever, they are trying to do as a project can contribute in the process of fulfillment of those goals through these systems. And certainly it will not be just limited to, production only, or to making money, or to run an, business organization. That is a part of it. And in fact, a small part of it, I would say. So if you remember, we said, production and protection and right utilization of physical facility is only less than 1/4 of our total program. So that would be the kind of weightage for the project that we are doing today. So it will be much broad based, and it will cover one of these aspects of the systems which ensures the fulfillment of human goal in a human society.
Right, sir.
Yes.
So one dimension also is it's already there. The metrics, how to measure this, जो project बन के आता है, उसका जो evaluation होता है, उसमें ये dimension डालना पड़ेगा. मतलब ये इसका क्या impact, उसे impact analysis करते हैं लोग.
Exactly. In fact, if you have gone through that document, that document on holistic value-based education also talks about the graduate attributes.
Yeah, attributes. Yes, saw that. Yes.
And the first attribute is that the student has to be a holistic vision of life. Right? That's first thing. Second is that he has the socially responsible behavior. Third is he is environmentally, responsible work he can do.
Yes, sir.
Right? So like that, those will come as the graduate attributes, and therefore they will become the basis of evaluation.
Method change करना पड़ेगा, sir. We have to change that method now. Current method is purely academic or application. We have to bring this dimension in. Like some people have already brought in dimension of sustainability.
The very basis of evaluation will change.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Anything else? I have to respond to.
नहीं गणेश जी, अभी तो उतना ही था.
जी.
Actually टाइम भी हो चला.
जी जी.
So if there is no other observation, then I suppose we can stop.
Yes.
ठीक है,
So
परीक्षा.
the next slide, that is for the next session.
Yes, yes, right.
In response to Mohan Raoji's question, I was just thinking that as a nation, our measurement of progress is GDP and GDP growth rate.
Yes.
You know?
G.
Is that sufficient?
No, we are GHP.
So that has to change, you know. And I was thinking that the more the misery in the country, the more the GDP.
That's true.
More lawyers are needed, more doctors are needed, more all those kind of things. So that necessarily has to change, and that gross national happiness and then gross world happiness, that those kind of things have to become the norm for measuring progress. So it has to be holistic.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Yes. So in the next session, we are going to discuss about the societal development. After individual development and team development, then these teams can participate in societal development in a meaningful way. So from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., there will be a discussion about societal development.
जी.
Thank you, Didi.
जी,
So
thank you.
we can close here and we'll meet at 6 o'clock for the next session.
जी.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Didi.
Namaste. Namaste.